Today is a very auspicious day, Disappearance Day of Sri Ramanujacharya. Yesterday I already told, if one does not get mantra from bona fide Guru Parampara, then that mantra will be fruitless. So for that reason, in Kali Yuga, there will be 4 bona fide Guru Paramparas coming from Brahma, who got knowledge from Krishna. Then he accepted Madhvacharya. Then one is Lakshmi, and she accepted Ramanujacharya. Then Shiva accepted Vishnu Swami, and 4 Kumaras accepted Nimbarka. So he's one of the 4 Vaishnava Acharyas. Our Prabhupada installed them in Chaitanya Mat, in the corner of the temple of Guru Gaurango Gandharbika Giridhari, because all 4 Vaishnava Acharyas, they came to Navadip and got darshan of Mahaprabhu, and he blessed them and ordered them to preach according to their duty at that time. Sri Ramanujacharya appeared in a village called Sri Perambadur in South India. This is west of Chennai or Madras. His father's name was Asuri Keshavacharya Dikshit, and his mother's name was Sri Kantimati, the younger sister of Sri Shailapurna. Sri Shailapurna was a prominent disciple of the renowned Sri Yamuna Acharya. So, as a young boy, already he was very brilliant, and he was also married as per desire of his father, but he was all the time renounced doing bhajan. Then later on, because wife became unfavorable, he also, by some trick, he left the house. And also he was studying. He is the avatar of Lakshman in Ram Lila, younger brother of Ramachandra. That is why his name also became later Ramanuja, that is younger brother of Ram. So he is not ordinary person, Supreme Lord. Lakshman, Baladev, Nityananda Prabhu, they are all non-different. So he appeared specifically to start devotion, because Shankaracharya drove out all Buddhists from India. Mostly he drove out, because some were also during the time of Ramanuja, he also converted them. Shankaracharya brought back to Vedic Praman, Vedic evidence. Then Ramanuja came and said, yes, Vedas are the evidence, but that is not right explanation, what Shankaracharya gave. Not fully right. Some points are okay, up to the point of that there is some spirit beyond the gross and subtle matter, that is okay, but other things are not right. So he was studying, means doing lila of studying at the feet of Yadava something. One is Achyuta Preksha, another is Yadava Prakash. Yes, his guru is Yadava Prakash. Achyuta Preksha is of Madhvacharya. So Yadav Prakash, he was a Mayavadi, strong Mayavadi, and he was explaining Upanishads and Vedanta Sutra with the commentaries of Shankaracharya. So Gurudev told that sometimes when disciples, they were serving their Gurudev, means bodily, like doing massage or something, at that time, like in informal talk, they would also speak some shlokas, some explanations. So one time when Ramanuja was massaging, Yadava Prakash was explaining one verse from Taittiriya Upanishad. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. And he explained, Brahman cannot simultaneously be eternal, cognizant, and unlimited. Just as a cow cannot simultaneously have an unbroken horn, a broken horn, and no horn. Brahman cannot have a variety of attributes simultaneously, that he is Satyam, Jnanam, and Ananta. Brahman has no qualities. So this is in this way he explained. Therefore, it is illogical to say that Brahman has qualities, as it is devoid of qualities. Nirguna. Because Shastra says Brahman is Nirguna, so this is not. After listening to this commentary, the dissatisfied Ramanujacharya said, if Brahman is said to be eternal without qualities, then it is ascertain that Brahman is unreal, because they are saying Brahman Satya Jagat Mithya. Brahman is real, it is existing, but this world is false. So if Brahman is said to be eternal without qualities, then it is certain that Brahman is unreal. How some object can be without? If Brahman is to be accepted as real, then one has to accept that it, as a word Brahman, or it actually means he, is endowed with attributes, especially those of being eternal, cognizant, and unlimited. Such a state is neither contradictory nor impossible. As per the words of Shruti Upanishad, Brahman is real. By saying that Brahman is cognizant, his eternal consciousness is to be accepted. Otherwise, Brahman will be nothing more than dull matter. Cognizance is an inseparable feature of Brahman. Brahman is unlimited and cannot be fathomed by the limited knowledge perceived by the material senses of a human. Brahman is beyond material perception, limitless, and beyond all material considerations or anxieties. Because those who are conditioned souls under the influence of Maya, they always have anxiety and pressure and all this, but he's beyond that. Therefore, Brahman's qualities of being eternal, cognizant, and unlimited are interrelated and perfectly coherent. Nirguna indicates Brahman's lack of material qualities, but he is the embodiment of unlimited transcendental qualities. Upon hearing this, Sri Yadava Prakash was astounded by the logical statements of Sri Ramanuja. Because Ramanuja is a realized soul. He knows Bhagavan. He is seeing him face to face, serving him, massaging him as Lakshman, everything. So how he can? So if someone has realization, then that will have impact. And he can, those who have realization, they can actually give commentary to Veda. Because Vedas, they are describing the truth. One who saw the truth, he can understand what is meant here. Otherwise, by intellect or by knowledge, you will think nirguna are no qualities. But you have to catch what is meant by that. Then at another time, Sri Ramanujacharya was massaging oil on the body of his teacher, Sri Yadava Prakash, who was commenting on 2 shlokas from the Chandogya Upanishad. Before it was Taittiriya, and if there will be time, maybe I can read. There is more commentary there from his one disciple who wrote down what Ramanuja was speaking. This is a long commentary on this verse. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. This is only one part of the verse. So here, that is in 2nd chapter, 1st verse in Taittiriya Upanishad. And in Chandogya Upanishad, it is 1st chapter, 6th part, 7th verse. Tasya yatha kapya sampundarikam evam akshani tasyoditi nama sa esha sarvebhyo papmabhya udita udeti havai sarvebhya papmabhyo ya evam veda. The following is the essence of the treatise given by Sri Yadav Prakash based upon the commentaries of Sri Shankaracharya. Although all the limbs of the effulgent Supreme Lord are of a golden colored complexion, his eyes possess a special significance. As the organ of evacuation of a monkey is brighter than its other organs, similarly, the Lord's eyes resemble that brilliance. Through those brilliant eyes, he sees everything. But when Shankaracharya is describing Supreme Lord, he has different conception. He's telling one is Nirguna Brahman, another is Saguna Brahman. When Nirguna Brahman accepts some material form and becomes Ishwar, like Krishna, Ram or Nrishinga, then his body is material of Satyaguna, and it is meant to help us meditate first on him so that we can get concentration, that later we can meditate on Nirguna Brahman. So for them, that Ishwar is also illusory, but they have some respect for Ishwar as a process. So naturally, they can also comment like that. But Ramanuja, listening to the comparison between the most beautiful eyes of the Supreme Lord and the excretory organ of a monkey, the extremely agonized Sri Ramanujacharya shed tears incessantly. A few drops of tears fell on the body of Sri Yadava Prakash. He was astounded to see that Ramanuja was crying with a heavy heart. When the Acharya asked the reason for Ramanuja's disturbed state, he replied that he was deeply hurt by listening to such a perverted meaning of the word kapya sam. He explained, the word ka means water. As per kam pibati iti kapih, which means that which absorbs or dries water. The word kapi indicates the sun. As per asa dhatu vikasane, natu upaveshane, the word asa means fully opened or blossomed. Pundarika means lotus. Because here, tasya yatha kapya sam pundarikam evam. The 2 eyes of the radiant face of the Supreme Lord are thus as beautiful as the lotus that is blossomed by the sun. He said, and you will find I opened in Chandogya Upanishad this verse. There are other meanings also Ramanuja gave to this verse. One is also lotus stem, and finally that explanation. And at the end, it is stated that meaning that it is like a excrement organ of monkey, that meaning is rejected. So when Ramanuja said this, then Yadav Prakash was saying to him, you are speaking like if such a Supreme Lord actually exists. Then Ramanuja said, yes, he exists. This is the description of him. Because Ramanuja directly he's saying, but Yadav Prakash, how he can? He's a Mayavadi. How he can have realization of Supreme Lord? So then, even though Yadav Prakash was astonished by listening to the narration of his disciple, Ramanuja, he became angry and censured him. And later on, Ramanuja opened, it is not here in this book, but another biography. After this incident, Ramanuja opened his own school nearby, and he got so much following that Yadav Prakash became envious of him, and he saw it as a threat to their school. So he made a plot to kill Ramanuja on the pretext of going to some pilgrimage. They invited him. On the way, they will kill him and they will say he went to forest and lion attacked and he died, so what to do? So, but Govinda, his cousin, he was also with them. He came to know what they are planning. So he told Ramanuja to go away immediately, and by some mystical power again he came back. So when they came back, they saw, first they thought he died in forest, something. But when they came back, they saw he was teaching. Then they understood he's not ordinary person. So here also Gurudev wrote, Sri Yadava Prakash, initially, though Sri Yadava Prakash was a guru of the Shankar lineage of pure non-dualism, means Advaitavad, and had aversion to Ramanuja, he later became his disciple. This is an indication of Sri Ramanuja's supernatural power. And Ramanujacharya also went with his disciple to get commentary of Vedanta Sutra in Sharada Pit. This is in Kashmir. Yes. There are many pastimes here. Sri Ramanujacharya was inclined toward the worship of Sri Vishnu right from his childhood. He came to Kanchipura along with his Gurudev and preached the doctrine of Vishishta Advaitavad, non-duality with particular attributes. While staying in the temple of Sri Varadaraja Swami, many persons came to take shelter of his feet during his long stay there. During the same period, he compiled Sri Bhasyam of Vedanta Sutra and wrote a commentary on the Gita, thereby refuting the doctrine of Kevala Advaita of Shankaracharya and establishing the principles of Vishishta Advaita. He performed penances on Venkatadri, Venkata mountain in Tirupati for some days, and also established the mode of worship of Lord Venkatesh. Later, when he came to Sri Rangam and preached the tenets of Vaishnavism, thousands of people were won over. Observing that countless people were joining the fold of the Vaishnava school of thought, the governor of Trishirapalli, Krimikanta Chola, developed hostility towards Sri Ramanuja to such an extent that he employed some persons to kill him. Sri Ramanujacharya left Sri Rangam for Yadavapuri in the province of Mysore. The king of Melkote, Balaraj, was a follower of Jainism. This is similar to Buddhism, but was broad-minded. When Sri Ramanujacharya freed the daughter of King Balaraja from an evil spirit by the power of mantra, he gave up Jainism and accepted Sri Ramanujacharya as his guru. He became Sri Vishnuvardhan. Due to this, the teachers of Jainism were enraged and subsequently engaged in a scriptural altercation in debate with Sri Ramanujacharya. When the great scholars of Jainism could not uphold their position in the debate and dropped out, many persons accepted the shelter of Sri Ramanujacharya and became Vaishnavas. Since then, Melkote has become a prime place of pilgrimage for the Vaishnavas. 12 years later, when Krimikanta Chola died, Sri Ramanujacharya returned to Sri Rangam. Later, he went to various parts of India to preach Vaishnava Dharma. And he preached profoundly in many places of pilgrimage such as Tirupati, Maharashtra, Girnar, Dwaraka, Prayag, Mathura, Varanasi, Haridwar, etc. Due to his authoritative preaching, many followers of Jainism and Shankar school of thought became Vaishnavas. After his pilgrimage, this point I wanted to come. After his pilgrimage, he went to Sharada Pit in Kashmir via Sri Badrik Ashram. The in charge of Sharada Pit were not accustomed to keeping scripture contrary to their ideology, but later they were obliged to preserve the literature because of being defeated by Sri Ramanujacharya in a scriptural debate. There is a hearsay that goddess Saraswati had personally come to Sharada Pit and posed puzzling questions from Vedanta to Sri Ramanuja. Satisfied with his replies, the goddess gave him the title Bhasyakar and also presented him with the deity of Sri Hayagriv. In this Sharada Pit, Mayavadis were in charge at that time, and they were keeping Sri Bodayan Vritti. That is maybe very ancient, maybe first commentary on Vedanta Sutra. Because Vedanta Sutra you cannot easily understand. It is only short some sentences, you don't know what is going on. Only Vyasadeva knows, and those who heard from him or those who is revealed. Because there is a format, there is some topic, and then there is some question, and the opponent will give some wrong conclusion. Then Vyasadeva in Sutra will give some right conclusion based on Upanishad, on Shastra. Then Siddhanta is established. So Bodayan he made a right commentary. So Mayavadis they did not like. So they kept that hidden. Like nowadays, the truth is being censored. Truth should not be there because their ulterior desires will be cannot be fulfilled, so they are suppressing the truth, censoring. Like that, Mayavadis also at that time, they were not allowing anyone to read that book. So Ramanuja came there with his disciple Kuresh, and by the grace of this Sharada Devi, one Saraswati, Sharada Devi, he somehow got that and they escaped, ran. And they were running, and Mayavadis also, they were following, but were a little behind. So it took 1 month before they could catch. But the point is that Ramanuja and Quresh, they were studying that Bodhaya and Vritti during night. And Quresh had such power of memory that he could remember the whole. So when the Mayavadis caught them, they took that scripture, but already Quresh remembered everything. So based on that, you need some, I don't know what is the English word. In Slovenian, we say izhodišče. You need some like foundation or something, something to start from. So based on that, Bodhaya and Vritti, Ramanuja gave extensive commentary, totally refuting Shankaracharya's or Siddhanta based on scriptures. So he wrote that Shri Bhasya, it is very famous. Our Gurudev also told when he was studying that his professor in philosophy in that school, he told him, no, don't read Shankaracharya's commentaries. You should read Ramanujacharya. They are very good, very reasonable, and with Shastra, that is good. That time Gurudev said he had no inclination that time doing Lila. He said, I did not read that time. But later when I joined Gurima, then I came to know, yes, that professor was right. Ramanuja's commentary is good. So one time also it happened, Kolotunga first, the king of Chola province at that time, who was a follower of Lord Shiva and hostile towards the Vaishnavas, had resolved to pluck out the eyes of Sri Ramanuja. Knowing this, Quresh, whose life was dedicated to the service of his Guru, came to the assembly of the king in the garb of Sri Ramanujacharya. He dressed like him. As a result, he lost his eyes. Later, however, by the grace of Lord Sri Bharadaraj, means Lord Narayan, he was blessed with divine eyes, because he did for the service of Krishna, his Gurudev. Like Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj also dressed as Prabhupada because they wanted to kill him, so he gave his life. So he was blessed. Like here, Quresh also got divine eyes by the grace of Narayan. Meanwhile, the king died in a state of intense suffering from a bruise in his throat. So he was preaching everywhere, and before he disappeared, his deity was also installed there in Sri Rangam. His avatar of Lakshman. Then here already disappearance pastime is there. Then there is his philosophy, Siddhanta, means object of worship is eternal, worshipper is eternal, and worship is eternal. All Vaishnava Acharyas, they are proving this by Shastra. Shankaracharya said, no, this is non-eternal. But it is not correct. There are so many miraculous Leelas also. Also, he came when he heard that Yamunacharya will disappear. He went there, but he came too late. Already Yamunacharya disappeared, but his hands were like this. One hand was, like this. No, I forgot. Clinch? Yes, like this. One was Chin Mudra, another was like a fist. So all were thinking, why is this? Then when Ramanuja came, he got that revelation that Yamunacharya had some desires. So I will write that commentary on Vedanta, and I will name one disciple. There are different versions, means some things he will do. So from that feast, these fingers then came out. So both hands were like this. So all understood, although he was not his Diksha disciple of Yamunacharya, but they all saw that he has real connection with Yamunacharya because he knew the desires by his grace, and he said, I will fulfill this. So they all accepted him as his successor. One is a successor who gets that seva from Guru. And he also converted many Buddhists, and that pastime, you know, one time he was in Jagannath Puri, and Jagannath appeared to him and told him, you have to go to Navadip. Then he went to Navadip, and there he got darshan of Gauranga. And he was so astonished at that forum. At that time he understood, before I saw there are some hints of Gaur Tattva, but now I understand by his grace. So he said to Mahaprabhu, I will preach about you everywhere. Then Mahaprabhu said, no, not now. Now you should preach Dasya Bhakti. Later on, when I will appear, then that time. So you will also appear at that time. You will be Ananta. And he is there in Vaikuntapur, in Navadip. Ramanuja was worshipping Lakshmi Narayan there with some other devotees. Then Mahaprabhu sent him back to Jagannath Puri, and from there he went to Kurma, Kshetra, and like this. So he also got darshan. And that teaching one husband and wife, they were going on the road, and husband was so attached to his wife that he was walking backward. Wife was walking forward and he was walking backward, so that his eyes were always on her face. So much attached, he could not remain without looking at her. Then Ramanuja saw this and he was astonished, and out of compassion he told him, why you are doing this? He said, I cannot help myself. I am so much attached. She's so beautiful. I am so much attached. I cannot I cannot remain without seeing her. Then Ramanuja said, okay, if I will show you something more beautiful, are you ready? Then he said, yes. Then he took him to Narayan, Diti, Shri Ranga, Ranganath. And he prayed to Bhagavan, oh Bhagavan, I pray, you please show him your real form, Swarup. Then he got darshan of Narayan, and he was so attracted, and simultaneously all that attraction for anything material totally was removed from his heart. Because by getting higher taste, you lose all other interest. So then he understood, and his wife also became devotee. She also got that grace. And another one pastime, also in short, I'm telling, one, he had many sannyasi, brahmachari disciples, and also some household disciples. So one time, one household disciple couple, they were very dear to Ramanuja. And sannyasis, brahmacharis, they were thinking why he's giving so much attention to them. Ramanuja understood what is going on in their hearts, so he called one brahmachari and he told him, today when they will take bath in the river, you change their dhotis. Then he did, and when sannyasis, brahmacharis came out, they saw, who took my dhoti? Oh, you took my, it is there. I put it here and it is there. Why you want to take my dhoti? Like this. And they were calling, no, you took my dhoti. It is, I put it here, but you took my dhoti. And they were quarreling very much for that possession. It is my dhoti. So Brahmachari then came. Then Ramanuja told him, today also another thing you have to do, you go to that couple's house and you steal all their gold and bring to the mat. So Brahmachari had to obey the order of Guru. Guru Agya Abhicharanya, you should not think what is Gurudev is ordering, only you have to do. So he went there and started stealing, and the wife was there at home, like sleeping, and he took everything, and also he started to take from her, because Gurudev said everything you have to take. So he took, then wife turned, and he thought, oh, maybe she woke up, and he ran away. He came to Ramanuja, he said, I could not take everything. Then said, okay, good. Now let us go there to the window and you will hear. Then husband came back, or awoke, different versions. And she was very much depressed. He asked, why you are so depressed? I did some mistake today. Brahmachari came from the mat and he took all gold everywhere from the house. I noticed, but he did not see me. And then he took from my body also all ornaments, bangles and everything. And then I wanted to turn around so that he can take from other side also. But he became afraid. He thought I woke up. So he ran away. So I'm very much depressed. He did not take everything. Then that Brahmachari understood, oh, that is why he's giving importance to them. They have no attachment. This is mind. Everything belongs to Bhagavan, Guru. Everything is meant for their service. If they need, if they want, they will, it should be used for their service. So then that Brahmachari told to sannyasis and Brahmachari what happened. That you were quarreling for one piece of cloth. It is mine. But they gave everything for the service of Guru, Vaishnava, Bhagavan. So outwardly we cannot know who is really what is inside his heart. Another also pastime is there. There are so many, because Ramanuja's biography is very long. Here Gurudev only some he mentioned, but so many are there, very miraculous. But Gurudev used to explain this one, that when Ramanuja was preaching, so he came to one place, here the city is not given, he had two disciples there. One was very rich and one was very poor, couple. So first he went to the rich disciple, but he knew he has no inclination to serve the Vaishnavas. So they only came there, and that owner, means the disciple, became afraid. Oh, so many Vaishnavas came, and he avoided. So Ramanujan understood, and they went, and then he said, now we will go to another one disciple. He's very poor, so you should not expect that we will get something to eat there, so you don't be disturbed. In advance I'm telling, but we will go there to bless them, we will go there. So they came there, and there was no one there. So Ramanujan knocked on door, and he asked, is there anyone in house? There was no reply, only three, like clapping. Then Ramanuja saw one sari was there on the sun, drying. Then he understood, oh, she has no clothes, she's inside. So then he threw his own cloth inside, And she took that cloth and she came out and offered obeisances and crying because she never thought Gurudev would ever come to their house because they are so poor. And she was also disturbed how I can serve them. They came. Ramanuja understood her mind that they have nothing. So Ramanuja said, why you are worrying? We don't need any asan. God gave very nice natural asan. There is a grass under a tree. What is better asan than this natural asan? And she was thinking how I can serve them. I have nothing. And her husband was begging. Then she thought, I have to serve Guru and Vaishnava. So there was one rich person in that city also. He was very attracted to her because she was beautiful, but she never looked at him and never he could look at her, never. He offered much money and so many things, but she was fully chaste. But that day she thought, okay, I will go to him. And she went to him and said, I will be with you. But I need some money and some articles because I have some guests. So I want to serve them. So if you help me, then tonight I will be with you. Then that merchant was very much excited. And he said yes. And he gave double of what she requested. Then she came and she cooked big feast. And she offered to Narayan, Diti, and to Gurudev and all Vaishnavas, and they were astonished how such a big feast. Then husband came back and he saw what is this going on. He asked her, where you got all this? And he also was astonished how Gurudev came to our house. He never thought. He offered obeisance, then he asked, wife, she said, first you take prasad, then I will tell you. He said, no, I cannot eat now unless I know. Then she told him everything. Then he became grave and he took prasad. And in the evening, they were both crying. But then he said that I'm so poor. I cannot give you food to eat. I cannot give you cloth, nothing. I'm so poor. That person is so rich and he was offering you many things, but he never could even take a look at you. Could not look at you. So, and you offered your body for the service of Guru, Vaishnava, Bhagavan. For this you offered. So I think there is no one in this world who can touch even a tip of your hair. Cannot touch. I am fully confident. So you go. Then Ramanuja also knew, he said, who offered this feast? So you take some prasad of Narayan to him. She took and also took some remnants of Ramanuja. Then that merchant was very happy. She came as promised and she said, I brought you some prasad. First you take that prasad. Then I will be with you. Then he took that prasad of Narayan and also of Ramanuja, that remnants. Then his heart totally changed. He understood, oh, I committed offense. Because truth entered into his heart by that prasad. So he understood everything. Then he was very sorry and begging for forgiveness, and he asked, who is that your guest? Who is that person? Then she took him there, and he also surrendered to Ramanujacharya and became his disciple, and was begging for forgiveness to this wife and her husband, and he served them whole life after, because they are senior god brothers, and he felt, I committed offense. So this is the power of bona fide guru and his blessing, and the power of seva is shown. Our Gurudev also told one similar incident happened with our Parangurudev. One very poor disciple in Bangladesh. There were many in that village. Parangurudev also wanted to bless her. He came to her house, but he knew we cannot stay there, she's so poor. But when he came, then she said, no, you have to stay here, at least for one day. Then Parangurudev said, okay, we will stay, but we will not take any food. No, I will cook everything. So she was cooking 3 times, feast. Then she said, no, you cannot leave. At least 2 days you have to stay. I will cook, and like this. For 7 days like this, she was requesting. And Parangurudev was with many disciples. Then after 7 days, they left. Then Parangurudev asked, from where you got all this? Then she told him, I sold this house to one person, because I thought I will never get this chance again to serve Gurudev and Vaishnava, so how I can miss this? So she sold her house. She was very poor, but she sold to someone, and she said, later I will give you that money. Means you give me money first, then after some days I will give you the house. And he agreed. So with that money she made seva. And Parangurudev asked, where you will stay now? She said, I don't care. On the road or everywhere, or if I die, I don't care. But I had to serve. So then Parangurudev, when he came to know, then his heart melted, and he said, no, you will not suffer anything. You go to Mayapur, our mat, and till the end of your life, you will be there doing bhajan. You don't worry about anything. And she was doing bhajan there whole life in Mayapur. So some are like this. They really have inclination to serve Vaishnavas. Ramanuja Mahaprabhu told, in your sampradaya, I will accept 2 points, Sharanagati and this, Vaishnav Seva. This is in many cases, and also Ramanuja, just before his disappearance, here it is written, and also in some other biography I saw, maybe some other place, means before he left, he was giving his final instructions. They were this, about Vaishnav Seva. You have to serve the Vaishnavas. They are very dear to Supreme Lord, so you have to serve them. In this way, Ramanujacharya, that was his final message, and then he left this world on today's day. But before that, as I told before, I cannot find now, he installed his own deity. He told, you worship this, my deity, after my disappearance. In Sri Rangam, it is there. I did not see, but once one Maharaj brought some sandalwood from that deity of Ramanuja that I got. And also Ramanuja revealed that Purva Mimamsa and Uttara Mimamsa are one scripture, not two. Shankaracharya said they are separate. Means Jaimini, Mimamsa means investigation or research. So Jaimini wrote one sutra about Karma Kant. That is Purva Mimamsa. Then Uttara Mimamsa after Vyasadeva wrote Vedanta, Atato Brahma Jigyasa. After you finish that, then you have to inquire into eternal truth for liberation. Because by that karma can't only for worldly things. So sometimes Vyasadeva also quotes Jaimini, Rishi. With some points he agrees with him, but with some points not, according to Shastra. So Ramanuja revealed they are same, means they are connected. I saw about his disappearance, now I cannot find. I cannot find them. Yes, his final message was this, Vaishnav Seva. So I am remembering Shri Ramanujacharya there in Mayapur and also our Kolkata Math and in Puri. I am bowing down to him and praying for his causeless mercy. I have these Upanishads with the his commentaries not written directly by him, but by his followers, because he did not directly comment on Upanishad, but in some other book he explained the main points about how to. So then later they did. So I saw these two commentaries from Chandoka and Tirya. There are more elaborate, and also Ishopanishad and Upanishad there, Vedanta Sutra, or Bhagavad Gita, also Ramanuja commentary is there. So I am praying for his causeless mercy. Tomorrow is Ekadashi here, so we'll observe.